Apple just announced a new update to the iPhone SE, which takes this classic iPhone form factor and packs it full of modern power with the same A15 chip as the iPhone 13. But what do you need to know before you order this classic iPhone? Or is it just a bit too outdated in 2022? Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and listen, I know the iPhone SE isn't the most exciting product that Apple announced at their March 8th peak performance event, but make no mistake, this is probably going to end up being a very popular iPhone model because it's the lowest cost iPhone in Apple's lineup. With that being said, is it really something you should consider purchasing, and what do you need to know about this phone before you actually hit the pre-order button this Friday? Okay, so let's cover everything new with the iPhone SE because it's actually a pretty simple update. Basically, we get the same exact form factor as the iPhone SE2, which is the same as the iPhone 8 design, and that overall body design goes all the way back to the iPhone 6. So instead of a full screen reduced bezel display, you get a bezel, like a top forehead and a bottom chin. However, because it does have the older design, this phone actually gets a feature that a lot of people have been asking for even in modern iPhones, and that's Touch ID, because it still has a regular home button. Now, although the iPhone SE doesn't get a new design, it does come with a fresh coat of paint, with new color options for Midnight and Starlight, which were introduced on the iPhone 13, and it also comes in that classic product red color. The iPhone SE also receives tougher smartphone glass on the front and back, which I must say, if it's like the iPhone 13's front and back glass, it is very durable. I've dropped my iPhone 13 a few times and it hasn't received any cracks or anything like that. And that seems to be what I hear from most people with those phones. So this could end up being a really durable phone with an all glass design. And now that durability comes to the cheapest iPhone, meaning hopefully it will last a really long time. What will also make this phone last a long time are big changes on the inside, with the iPhone SE moving from the A13 chip to Apple's flagship A15 chip, the same one inside the powerful iPhone 13. Now, while the A15 chip is powerful and will ensure years of software updates for the iPhone SE, it also brings other features to the iPhone SE from the iPhone 13. This includes photographic styles, which allows you to tweak the built-in computational algorithm of the iPhone SE's photos to suit your personal tastes. So you can have the photos set to come out cooler or warmer, or have photos that are more vivid or have more contrast by default. Smart HDR4 also makes its way to the iPhone SE, so it's the same HDR processing as the iPhone 13, even though the physical hardware on the SE camera hasn't changed at all. Even though it gets all these features, what is kind of disappointing with the computational photography on the SE is it still does not have the night mode feature. Now, the A15 chip also promises a surprising benefit for the iPhone SE, and that is increased battery life. Apple claims that the iPhone SE3 will actually have better battery life and up to 2 hours more when watching video, bringing the battery life claim of the SE3 to the same as the 12 mini. The iPhone SE also adds 5G cellular networking, making it the cheapest 5G iPhone in Apple's lineup. Although, this does come with a slightly increased starting price point, with the 64GB model starting at $429, a $29 increase over the last SE. Okay, so that's all that's new with the iPhone SE3. But should you order one? Well, it's a really tough question for me. There's a lot I like about what Apple is doing here with the iPhone SE. It is such a great value for the performance, which is exactly the same again as a flagship iPhone 13. And it looks like the camera on the SE will still be pretty respectable. So if you want a phone that lasts, will be supported for years with software updates at $429, it's really an attractive option, and I think this phone will be popular with people who want to save money, but also for older users who don't like the new gesture system on newer phones and like the home button, or for younger users where if you're a parent buying a phone for, say, your child, you probably don't want to spend a bunch of money on it, but you still probably want to get an iPhone if you have one to keep them into the Apple ecosystem to use features like iMessage and FaceTime. And I do applaud Apple for giving us a cheaper iPhone option that has the same power as their flagship phones. It's something that you don't really see on the Android side of things, where the first cost-saving cut they make is giving you a weaker and slower chip. So a $429 iPhone SE is literally more powerful than any other Android phone in its price range, and quite frankly, more powerful than any Android smartphone on the market right now. With that being said, The design for 2022 is very dated. The bezels are big, the 4.7-inch display might be too small for a lot of users, and I think the biggest open question for me, at least right now, is the battery life on this device. I know Apple is claiming a 2-hour improvement over the last model, and I know the A15 chip is more efficient than the A13 chip, but is it really that much more efficient enough to gain an additional 2 hours of battery life, especially when battery capacity hasn't changed at all? And Apple has added 5G to the phone, which is known to be a bigger battery hog than when using 4G LTE networks. It's a point I really need to test in my full review to see if this phone is really worth it, because I think for me, the battery life on this device either makes it or breaks it for a recommendation. I'm also a little sad about the slight price increase. I get it's only $30 more, but it just resembles an unfortunate increase in the price when the old $399 price point was really the sweet spot. And because it's $30 more, it also brings into question if you should even go for the iPhone SE when there's other iPhones in Apple's lineup you might want to consider. Take the iPhone 11, for example. The iPhone 11 has a lot of benefits over the iPhone SE, and it's only $70 more. It has a bigger 6.1-inch display, a more modern design, Face ID, a 2-camera system with a wide-angle lens and an ultra-wide-angle lens, has nice photo features like night mode, and it has better battery life with a 17-hour video playback rating, which is 2 hours more than the iPhone SE. Granted, you don't get 5G and you get a weaker A13 chip, but from a design and perhaps usability perspective, the iPhone 11 could actually end up being the better budget phone for most users, especially because, again, the bigger 6.1-inch display and the better battery life. I think those are the two features that users value the most right now. And if you don't have a problem buying from Apple's excellent refurbish program, you can get a 128GB iPhone 11 right now for less than a 128GB iPhone SE. It starts at $469. And you can even get the iPhone XR, which is a very similar phone to the iPhone 11. Granted, it comes with a weaker A12 chip, but it's actually $419, $10 less than the starting price of the iPhone SE, and again, double the storage at 128GB. So yeah, the iPhone SE, it's an attractive option at its lower cost, and yes, I'm not taking for granted that it packs in the powerful A15 chip and 5G into an older iPhone design, and while that is an attractive feature set, I just want to remind people, it may not be the right choice of features for you, even at that lower price. Take a good look at the other options that are available to you and try and make the best choice for you. For me, I think I need to actually get my hands on the iPhone SE to decide if it's really worth it, because it's been a while since I've used that older phone design, and the last time I used it, I remember the battery life, quite frankly, being awful. So hopefully the improvements Apple has made have really stacked up here, and hopefully I can come out of that review with a stronger recommendation. But yeah, that's basically everything to know about the new iPhone SE right now, and if you want to see more in a full review and find out even more along with me, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you found this video helpful in your pre-ordering process for the iPhone SE, make sure you give me a like, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.